Hello and welcome to another edition of an RCN and Ameliorate podcast. I'm your host, Christina Lynn, and I am here with my wonderful and beautiful co-host, Stacy Mayone. Stacy is not only the chairman of our advisory board for Rescue Children Now, but she has also founded Ameliorate. And if you will, please tell our audience more about it.
Sure, absolutely. I'm the founder and visionary of Ameliorate Your Life. Ameliorate means to enhance, to improve, or to make better. So I created Ameliorate Your Life with holistic services and modalities that will help to enhance, to improve your life. So we have a lot of classes, and we have classes online. We've teamed up with Rescue Children Now, so we can rescue children and create the aftercare.
We're so proud to have you with us. It's just such an honor to work with you and Ameliorate.
So wonderful.
And you've done so much for RCN.
Thank you.
I want to thank you and let everyone out there know that you're working so hard around the clock. Stacy, we are so blessed today to have such a wonderful guest with us, Susan Heather Ross. You are an art teacher and you've had many years in the classroom, but you're also a Renaissance woman. You have been and are an author, yoga instructor, jewelry designer, and you enjoy so much sharing knowledge with others. And we are so blessed to know that you currently have created an amazing human trafficking awareness program. And this is going to be presented in schools. And this is going to change so much. Thank you, and we're so happy to share your journey with you today. Will, please give us the name of your program you've developed and tell us how that really came about.
The name of the program is newhorizons.earth, and I'm a high school teacher and have been researching human trafficking for quite a number of years now, and think it is a tremendous problem that we really need to try to address through prevention. There are many different aspects of trying to combat this evil enterprise, but prevention by going into schools, churches, youth groups, becoming a part of different organizations that also do the same, so that we can create this awareness for parents, teachers, children, to really become aware of what to look for the signs of trafficking, so that this way we can work together as a team to try to just really combat this evil that has really infiltrated our planet.
Absolutely. Yes, that's very true.
And I think it's so great how you can implement this PowerPoint that we're working on, how you can bring this into schools and put it as a part of the curriculum in schools and let kids really be aware every day, beat it in their head just a little bit of how we can be aware of human trafficking, because the grooming starts at such a subtle age and a subtle way that these groomers can work on kids, and to make them aware from day one is so important.
They need to be aware also of the internet,
and
course,
that's
all
what
of
you're
the predators
teaching them.
that are using different techniques through various social media sites. There's just so many different ways that they're using the internet now, even actually selling children online through familiar websites.
Through digital.
Right. A lot of the...
And that brings to mind, I'd like to have you address a lot of the parents out there. What can parents do? I know parents want to make a difference. And I know, Stacy, you may have something to say about that too. What can parents do to help protect their children against online predators?
They have to be aware of what their children are looking at on social media, become friends with them on social media, make sure they're looking at who's friending them, different things that are kind of alarming, somebody asking for pictures or some information. Just be really aware of what your children are doing. I think awareness is very, very important, and really be on top of what who their friends are,
right?
What kind of clothing they're wearing, just be a friend to your child.
Well, behaviors, and if a different behavior,
That's
or
right.
standoffishness or secretiveness or anything different, it's just any kind of different interaction with your child.
That's
I think
very
because
true.
we're with them every day, or we hope we are, and we can see these, be aware. It's awareness.
Yeah, and Stacy, if you could speak about what you just mentioned about friends. How is it that you're able, and how can a parent be able to really get to know the parents, the families? Because some of these trafficked victims are being trafficked through their friends at school
That's right.
and the parents.
Right.
So what would you recommend
Right.
to those that are watching about that too? And Susan, if you'll both speak on that.
Well, you are who you surround yourself with, and I always have told my kids that from such a young age. You are who you surround yourself with, and I want to get to know the parents, and I absolutely can see how their friends could affect them, and how having our kids keep an eye out for their friends.
That's right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. And a lot of times it is safer if you don't really know the parents and the family to have them have, it's fine. Of course, you want your children to have a social life and maybe have sleepovers or whatever, but it's better to have it in your own home
That's right.
until you really know. Because
Right.
I worked with a victim a few years ago that was trafficked
That's
through a
right.
slumber party by her 14-year-old friend. And it turned out the father, who the girl's parents even met, or well, she was a single mother, taking her daughter, who became the victim, to the slumber party. She talked to the father, and right after the mothers all left, he trafficked those poor little
Yeah.
girls, age 14 to 16.
Yeah.
It happens, so you've got to be aware.
So did the father's little girl know that the dad was up to this stuff?
Yes.
Was she being trafficked as well?
Yes, he was trafficking his own daughter.
He was already trafficking
And
his
using
own daughter.
her.
And then you got her friends.
Yeah, and she was the groomer, because they often have groomers in the same age range.
Sure.
And this is what Jeffrey Epstein did back in Palm Beach. He
With
paid those
Ghislaine.
14. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghislaine was also grooming 14 to 16-year-olds because it's easier for a peer to go in and say, hey, you know what? I know this real cool guy. We can go hang out at his pool. Right. And the next thing you know, let's go after school.
Yeah.
And he'll pay us some money too to hang out.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what happened
that's
with
it.
Epstein,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
And unfortunately, the groomers, like someone like a Ghislaine Maxwell, what they will do is they will have a tendency to study it. And they'll study who are the latchkey children. Look at all the single mothers we have.
Right.
And single fathers. But primarily there's so many single mothers that have to work and they have to let the kids come home after school.
That's right.
And these are the ones that they target.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why I think it's so important for us with your program to put it into schools and to bring awareness to teachers and to other children,
Yes.
to the other children. And speaking about it almost on a daily basis.
Right.
And making it just be like having a cup of tea as we talk about grooming and child trafficking.
Yeah.
It's that prevalent that I
Yeah.
think it needs to be talked about every day.
Stacey, you're right. It's got
Yeah.
to be conversation that can be at a dinner table conversation. It's not an easy conversation. It's not something that people want to talk about.
Right.
But because it's reality, we have to.
Yeah.
And as we speak of this too, Susan, let's go back to you on some other major points that you have in this so important program. What else do you feel is important for us to tell our audience today? and to speak on?
I think
Signs,
for the signs
tattoos,
definitely.
all that
the
We could talk about that.
tattoos, That's right.
Please.
So there are certain tattoos that show that somebody is being trafficked because the tattoo will represent either a price, it could represent the ownership, and oftentimes, unfortunately, trafficked children form a bond with their trafficker. So it's, I think, known as Stockholm syndrome.
It is Stockholm syndrome.
And
yeah.
and then that becomes very, very difficult because it's very hard. They don't even have to actually enslave them per se, where they keep them in a room. They are out going to school, they're living their lives, and they're still being trafficked. So it's not this thing where we think that trafficked children are being, hidden away. They're out going, running their errands, doing all the things they normally do, except that they might be going to school during the day, and then after school they're being trafficked until dinner time. It's just horrendous. And I think that as far as prevention, programs are very important, because I think that's how we're going to create awareness. And being a teacher of 27 years, I've never seen a program in the schools that I've worked in on
It's time to
trafficking, and
change
it's time
that.
to change that,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Thank you for stepping
And
forward.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I
Too
think,
many.
again, when we think of prevention, there's certain things that we have to look at. one of the things also is, where these predators hang out. Like, where are they hunting for children? They're at bus stops, they're at schools in the schoolyard, they're going to parties. I've, as a high school teacher, spoken with students who've said that they've been at parties and then there's a creepy guy hanging around that's older that nobody knows, and he could easily be a trafficker. And so kids really need to know what to look for. They also have to be very careful at parties because somebody could slip something in their drink. And I often tell them that you shouldn't be drinking, of course, but if they have a drink, that somebody could easily, poison them. And so
that is so important, that kind of awareness. Don't accept a drink from someone you don't know.
Right.
This happens even on college campuses, where a lot of times the girls will say, oh, I'm 19, I'm 20, I'm 21, I know what I'm doing.
That's right.
And that's not always the case. So that's very true. That's true. And I was with a friend years ago at a spring break in Daytona Beach, Florida. And I now realize that a man that approached our car was a trafficker. And I knew there was something really, really wrong with him. And I think that was something that really helped me wake up back in my 20s. I was only 22, but I only looked like I was about 18 or 19, and I was driving. And I remember just saying to my girlfriend, lock your door, we're getting the heck out of here.
Yeah.
That was back, in the 70s. So this is something that's been prevalent for a long time, but it's been hidden.
Yes.
And it was taboo to talk about it for a long time. But now, thank God,
Being
Stacey,
exposed.
like you said, it's out there. We're speaking about it. And as a matter of fact, with Rescue Children now, we're also going to do something because, Stacey, if you'll speak about malls and shopping areas, we have a new retail initiative we're doing where we're going to have our app that we're going to be working
We've
with.
created the set. We've already it's already done. The app is done.
Yes.
So, but now it's going into the Guardian network phase, which is what
Fantastic.
we want to do at Walmarts and things like that. So you can
Walmarts,
explain that.
Home Depots, malls.
Grocery store, anywhere.
Yeah, what's happening now is a lot of times there are groups that are there that are trafficking small groups. There'll be 2 or 3 of them working together. What they'll do is they'll walk in and film. They will target during broad daylight a single mother or a mother that's alone or an adult that's with young children. They'll go in and film, and they'll have the van pull up out front, follow them through to know what door they're leaving. This has been very prevalent in the state of Georgia. We're working a lot. Of course, Rescue Children now works in all 50 states, and we're working state by state by state. And in our efforts now in Georgia, we found that there's a big number now of these groups working in Walmarts, Home Depots, malls, all of these different places. So we're going to work with the retailers ourselves, and we're going to have escort groups that will now, you'll be able to get on the app, and you're going to have your Rescue Children Now whistle, which we've got our whistle, and you'll be able to contact us ahead on the app and say, I'm a single mother, I'm going into Walmart, I have 2 little girls, I'm very nervous, could you please escort me? We will have volunteers that will escort the mother and the children in and out of the store safely. And we will have this at malls for Christmas shopping. We're going to get volunteers. We need you all to volunteer. And please come on our website. You'll have a place there that you can click and become an escort volunteer to make sure that your community is safe.
So when they're in taking pictures of these moms and these children in a Walmart or in a mall, they take a picture inside the store and send it out to the driver of the van, so the driver will know exactly who to target because they've already had the picture sent from inside the store to outside. They'll know exactly where the van should pull up, and they'll know who to get. Just kind of like that video that I sent you the other day.
Yeah.
There was a grandmother walking down the street with her 2 little children, and the kidnapper came and just in broad daylight came and just swept that little kid up.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
They're getting desperate. So
They're getting desperate. It's
Yeah.
being exposed. Human trafficking and child kidnapping is being exposed, and they're getting desperate. So now they're doing desperate measures.
Right, and prevention is the most important thing. We are continuing to make sure, as our motto is, we don't stop till every child is safe. Prevention is the key. Another thing, too, is with us working in the schools, Susan, and back again to the program, let's talk more about how the children are really going to be educated even more about this and prepared more to be savvy. What else would you, and parents as well.
Self-confidence, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely empowering them, building their
Empowering.
self-confidence.
Yes.
Having them, creating the awareness to know what these traffickers do, what they're looking for, who they're targeting, how they're being targeted, the different steps, like in the grooming process. Like the whole grooming process is really that the trafficker wants to get close to the child, and they do so by like preying upon their vulnerabilities, maybe acting like they're cajoling them if they're depressed, saying, oh, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, oh, I can, they offer them jobs like modeling contracts, just trying to lure them in any way they can. They identify and target what those vulnerabilities are, and then that's when they lure them in. And then once they've got them, they basically have them doing things that are whatever they want them to do. And sometimes the victim ends up feeling like the trafficker actually saved them and that they owe the trafficker. And that's another big problem, because then they feel because they owe them, because they came in and helped them.
Right.
It's just completely psychological. And I think getting kids to understand the psychological process of what a trafficker would do is very important, so they can identify when they're in the middle of something like that.
And when they have self-esteem, I think
It's
when
just-
they have confidence and self-esteem, that isn't so easy for them.
That's right.
Right.
For the
They
traffickers.
profile. Unfortunately, they do profile. And
absolutely,
because some of the
for sure.
survivors we've worked with in Florida, they had been profiled because they were very insecure. Sometimes they were a little overweight. They were not getting along with peers. So these traffickers will profile. And that's why they pay people like Ghislaine Maxwell to
Yeah.
go look for the little vulnerable ones that are insecure. It's very easy to see that kind of thing, those that are loners and insecure. So again, by us, what we're going to be doing with one of our prevention programs is we're going to be working with school counselors to go in and find those children that have less self-esteem, maybe because they are from a broken home, or they are with a parent that's working a lot and they're left alone a lot. They may not be fitting in with their peers and this kind of thing. So we'll find and work with them, and we will be the ones to help them have parties and take them to get their nails done and do all the things that those traffickers will try to do, again, to ingratiate themselves
That's right.
falsely with these poor children. The beautiful thing is we're going to show them, hey, we care about you, and we're going to help you, and we're going to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Susan, we want to thank you so much for being here today and bringing so much knowledge and passion. You are a true hero, and we're so blessed.
As are you.
We are
thank you.
changing CCSD. We are changing the Clark County School District for
And-
this woman right here.
And that will be a prototype for all the school systems
Yes, it
throughout
will be.
America and
Yep.
hopefully on into other countries. So what we'll do then is we'll have you contact if you want to come through rescuechildrennow.org. If you do have questions or you want to connect in with Susan as she moves forward, we will link in your website when it's ready.
When it's
And you can reach there, and then you'll
And
tell us about
also through Ameliorate website, which is aylnow.com. aylnow.com. Ameliorate your life now. And I'll have Susan. Susan, you're on my website already.
I
She's
am.
already on the website. Her school program and her teaching is already on the website. So now we're just developing the human trafficking part of it.
Right. Thank you so much.